Do you feel like you just run out of money at the end of every month, or it doesn't even seem like your money makes it to your next paycheck? So you can't even really classify yourself as living paycheck to paycheck. If any of that sounds like you, this is going to be the video for you because we're going to break down budgets like you haven't seen them broke down. We're not just going to cover the basics, we're going to get a little deeper. Let's talk about it. Do you feel like every time you get paid, the money is just gone and you can't seem to keep your arms around it? Do you have a budget? If the answer to the first question was yes, and the answer to the second question was no, this video is for you. Let's talk about it. Hey goalies, welcome back to the channel. And we're talking about my favorite word today, budget. This is one of the biggest and most powerful tools you can use when it comes to managing your money. I don't care if you want to be a millionaire, if you're going to be a millionaire, going to be a billionaire, real estate mogul, CEO, boss, whatever it is. At the very core, your financial foundation will need to be set. It's similar to a house. You can have the biggest, most beautiful house with all the features. It can be a smart house that literally you can say a word and your house does what you want it to do. But if the foundation of that house is crooked, uneven, it's going to cause you a lot of problems. Your budget is absolutely the same way. And that's why I want to dive into it today. A lot of us think that because we're budgeting, that means that we don't have, or we associate the word budget with broke or deprived, or we associate the word budget with not having, when it couldn't be further from the truth. If you're ready to take control of your money, this is going to be the video for you. Now, before we get started, I do need a favor from you. Please hit that like and subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications so you can get all these tips and tricks and I help you get your financial life in order. Okay, let's get into it. I know a lot of people get overwhelmed at the thought of a budget. A lot of people get overwhelmed thinking that they won't be able to travel anymore. They won't be able to get their hair done, buy clothes, or I have this game I play at a lot of my workshops, and it's basically a needs versus wants game. And a lot of times when people put something in the wants category, they automatically think that because it's a want, it's not something that they can have. And because we're doing a budget activity, that they're not going to be able to do that thing. I do that activity for that various reason because it strikes conversations to challenge the norms of what we think about budgeting, to challenge the norms about what we think goes in a budget and how we budget going forward. The important thing to know is yes, you can still get your hair done. Yes, you can still travel. You're just using your budget so that you can see the full picture of how those expenses will affect your finances. Now, yes, I do understand a lot of times people struggle with budgeting because once they see what they're working with and they see how many bills they have compared to expenses, it is. Sometimes it gets frustrating. It feels like that they won't be able to get ahead. And it's almost like a reminder of like, oh, well, my bills are eating up my paycheck. The best thing I can tell you to do is instead of using that as a deterrent or using it as discouragement, use it as fuel, use it as motivation, use it as that energy you have growing up when you had that person that was telling you that you can't, and you took it upon yourself and made your mission to let them know that you can. That's exactly what I want you to use that energy for. Don't use that energy to get discouraged about budgeting, because it's a temporary picture of what your wallet looks like now. You're looking at the picture though, so that you can make a change and change it for the future. Now, with that being said, let's start off with exactly why budgeting is important. Budgeting is important because, like I said, you need your financial foundation in order. You see so many businesses, celebrities, just all around us who, if they don't have a foundation financially, they ultimately fail. You have to have an idea where your money is, where your money is going, and you have to make decisions with that in mind. You have to make decisions with the end in mind. And a lot of times we make these ideas of what we want and we want to do this. And a lot of times social media influences them. The reality is you can't do that. You have to go and look and see what your wallet says, because your wallet looks different from theirs. So you can't make decisions based on that. You have to have a budget because it's important to know, well, how much money came in this month and how much money did I spend out? When you start to do this and you start to budget, it will allow you to pick up on things that shouldn't be there, which looks like charges on your account that you're not supposed to have, different people charging you more than they're supposed to because you're more aware of how much you're supposed to be getting charged. So now you're looking with the side eye like, this is not how much my bill is supposed to be. So that's one of the reasons, or I guess a few of the reasons why it's important to budget. Now, let's get into a step-by-step guide, and I'm going to share a budget on the screen. Let me just get this budget up, and then I'll put it full screen, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so this is a sample budget I created literally just for this video. So now you see we have your rent / mortgage, we got phone bill, we got internet service, car insurance. I put Nicor because it's a gas company in Chicago, but we're just going to put gas company. Don't mind my non-spelling. And then we're going to put electricity company. I mean, and if you have a water bill, then do that too. Add that. I can't spell today. Dang. City. But yeah, so as you see, these are your reoccurring bills. So this is a sample budget I use for my clients that I do financial coaching with. And I have it available. If it's something that you want, I could definitely send this to you. But rent, phone, internet, car insurance, gas, electric company. The thing about all of these bills are these are the bills I need to live. These are my constant bills that I need to pay every single month. These are the bills that I know in order for me to live comfortably and flick the switch and the lights come on, cook when I want to, have hot water, all of those things, I have to pay these bills. That's why I have these bills up here. Now, next we have our monthly debt payments. These are the payments that we can look to erase and we can learn to erase. One of the important things I didn't put on here, you want to know what your interest rate is for each card. That's very important because a lot of times when you're paying off debt, that's one of the factors that you might consider. Which one is costing me the most money? So if you look at this, we see they got different amounts. We got different days that they're due. Bam. Now we get down to the other spending. As you see, the first one I put emergency fund because you want to pay yourself first. Now we got dining out and entertainment. We got personal expenses, transportation, which this might be gas for your car, depending. Netflix, $14.99. We got Hulu, HBO Max. We put some streaming in there for you. We got groceries. And then I put travel in case if you wanted to travel, you would add money to go towards traveling. The next thing that you would add and that we're going to add for is it like maybe you want to purchase a house. You would put money there because you want to start saving for the house. Then if it's investing, you would put money that's going to go to your brokerage account and you simply would just put that line over on here. Let's just say you use E-Trade. You would put E-Trade there and then you put the amount. Now this is a per month budget. So these are literally broken half, $150 per paycheck, $125 per paycheck, $150 per paycheck. Now let's go over this full budget. So based on this budget, they have a total of $4,964 in expenses per month. Okay. Now, this is their income. They get 2 paychecks, $5,000 a month, and then they got child support coming in. Thank goodness for child support, right? So with that being said, the first thing you want to look at is emergency fund. What does your emergency fund look like? How much savings do you have? Well, if their current bills equal up to, might as well say 5,000, 1 month emergency fund would be that 4965. 3-month goal would to have $15,000. So that's a great way to understand exactly how much to put in your emergency fund, simply because I need to be able to pay my bills, and it's going to be hard for me to pay my bills if something was to happen to me or I lose my job if I don't have enough money sitting in the account. So I need to have enough money to be able to live the life I'm living now if I did not have income coming in that month, because life is always going to life. Let's get it. So now that we know exactly how much we want to put in our emergency fund, one of the next things I have my clients do is I have them assign tasks to per account. So you might have multiple checking accounts, you might have multiple savings accounts. I need you to assign things to them. Okay. Which account do your bills come out of? Now, I call this a holding account, and let me explain this. I call this a holding account because it's important. As we go back down to these bills right here, like I said, these are monthly bills. So when I get my first check, I'm going to take 150 out of that check. I'm going to take 125 for dining out. This is where I'm going to hold that money. I'm going to hold that money in this separate account, because when I'm doing my everyday spending and things like that, I'm doing that out of this bills account. So once I know that there's no money there, that lets me know I don't have money available to spend. When you leave the extra money in that account waiting, depending on how disciplined you are, sometimes you're just literally tempting yourself and you're going to look and think that you have money, but you don't. So I recommend a holding account. Now, emergency fund, that goes there, house fund, that can be a travel fund if you already have a house. Get creative. Your budget is yours. This budget should reflect you and your lifestyle and how you live. Now, I have them put the dates because it's very important to figure out exactly which bills can get paid from which check. The next part of this is when you are paying bills and you organize it like this and see what dates everything gets paid, you might find yourself looking at it like, wait a minute, why do I have all these bills coming out at the end of the month? That's more than my check. Then you know automatically I can call, and let me call and see if I can get the date of my bill changed, so you can get it changed to a time during the month that's more comfortable for you to be able to pay it. The next thing is with your rent or your mortgage, I highly recommend, again, taking out half each paycheck. So with that being said, one of the biggest things I want you to notice on this budget is look how much money they are paying every month in debt. They are paying $1,200 in debt per month. Can you imagine what somebody would do with those $1,200? So I wanted to provide you an explanation to help you understand. When you're creating a budget, what you do is you put all of your bills. You see how I put emergency fund, I put travel, I put personal expenses, so hair, nails, I put entertainment, so going out to dinner, your DoorDash, food, like I put different things on there. And then I listed all my credit cards, what dates they were due, how much I owe total, and how much I have to pay as a minimum payment. Then I listed my current bills that I pay every day. Now, it's very important. You see, I had to list all of the things. Now that I do that, then I need to list what income am I coming in? Do I have coming in? What income is coming in and where is it coming from? What's the total? So now that I know how much money I have coming in for the month, and I know how much money I spend on expenses and personal spending and all of those things, I need to subtract my expenses from my income and see, do I have any money left? Or if I do have money left, what am I going to do with it? So in this budget right here, they did have money left. If you scroll to the bottom, you see they had $335 left. My recommendation, they need to use that $335 to attack debt. They need to use that money to attack debt so that they can reduce this $1,200 coming out of their paycheck every month. Because the reality is, the more money that you are paying in debt every month, that's the gap between you and your financial goals. Having that money in your pocket and accessible to use on a regular basis will allow you to work towards your financial goals so much sooner. Now that we got that out the way, let me take this off the screen and come back up here, and let's get back to our conversation. Now that we've seen that, now you've done your budget, now you know where your money is going. Now you can start setting goals. Now you have a realistic way to actually execute a plan and accomplish those financial goals. Now I know what's going in. And sometimes for some of my clients, I know this is a big step. This is a very vulnerable step. This is something that's going to take you being open and honest and vulnerable about what your current debt is, how much income you're bringing in, and take you sometimes looking at bank statements, credit card statements, and especially like just really opening your mind to whatever you have going on. And sometimes this is the point where you realize that you might have dug a hole for yourself, and that's completely okay. That's just how it is. But it's important for you to know that you dug a hole, because how else can you start to fill the hole? How else can you start to clean it up if you don't know how much or what type of mess that you have? So with that being said, you might want to break things down. You see, I broke things down into different categories based on what was essential for me to live and what was non-essential. I think that's important because when it comes down to making decisions or executive decisions that you have to make in your budget because something comes up, that's great to know what's essential and what's not essential. All right. Remember, budgeting is not about deprivation. It is about you managing your money and using your budget as a window into your wallet. Just because you get morning coffee every day, that does not mean, oh my gosh, I have to cut out my coffee. You just put it in your budget. Make it a part of your personal spending budget. If coffee costs $5 a day and that's $25 for every day that you go to work, okay, well, that's $100 for the month that you're going to spend in order to do it. Okay, well, you need to make sure it's $100 in your personal spending of your budget to make sure that it's covering so you have enough money to get your coffee. Get your coffee, okay? Don't go curse them people out because you didn't get your coffee that day. I need you to understand, though, that it's just to go into your budget. So it's not restrictive. It's more so all-inclusive. It's here to help you be the CEO of your life. But in order for you to be the CEO of your life, it's going to take you being the CEO of your wallet, because it's going to take you directing and giving out names and delegating tasks. Because believe it or not, you signed up your money for these things because your money goes where you tell it to go. You are the boss of your money. So when you signed up for that car, you assigned your money to go to that car note. When you went and purchased those things, you assigned your money and you told your money to go over there. So when you take that power in knowing you are the one sending it and delegating it, create a debt repayment plan and make sure you look at the rest of the videos. I'm creating a nice little playlist for you all so that you can go through them and like be kind of like a starting point when you're starting to get to this journey and get on your way. You're going to hear a lot of talk about mindset in any of my videos because it's a real part of this journey. Budgeting, I would say, lastly, is about taking control of your financial future. Goalies, remember, start small. Start small and stick to it. And stick to it doesn't mean that you have to do it every single day, but more oftentimes than not. Once you stick to it consistently, and if you fall off, take your moment and then get right back to it like you never fell off, then you'll start to see the changes and you start to reap the rewards. And that's when the shift starts to happen because you see, one, that it's possible. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I'm going to head out and thank you for continuing to learn and grow with me. And I'll catch you on the next video.